Your morning blitz begins now.
Get that chance. Go play for a national championship. We're going to swing as hard as we possibly can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
On the Blitz.
Well, good morning. 6:06. I'm Lewis. She's Kelly Quinn. That's Dick Rick.
Hello,
We're halfway
hello.
through the work week. Hi.
Yes.
You got your vehicle back. I was so excited when I pulled in this morning.
I am so happy to have my car back.
I can't see you. Hold on.
Yeah, we have like 50 microphones
I
in
know.
here, and they're all blocking our view.
All
Yeah,
I could see was like this cut in your face. It was driving me crazy.
I went yesterday to Don's Automotive Collision and Repair in Alexandria, picked up my beautifully fixed and repaired vehicle.
Feel good to get behind the wheel?
It did. It did. Yeah, it did. I was kind of, I learned a whole new car over the last few weeks.
Sure.
And so now I'm confused about what my buttons do. Relearning all that. But it's great. I'm so happy to have it back.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah. It's like being kicked out of your home for a few weeks for repairs.
How do you stay in your lane now?
I know. I turned that off. I turned that bad boy off. I do not like that.
What if they installed one of those things where it turned your car off at the light and you didn't want them to? Hey, we thought that would be nice for you, so we put that in for you. Would that drive you? You know where your car shuts down at the light. If you stop at a light, your car turns off and you have to restart it before you.
Why
Haven't
does
seen
that happen?
But those are electric cars.
No, that's a regular. It's some gas-powered cars too.
It is?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
You haven't
What?
really? What?
I mean, I hear these
Why
cars.
would that happen?
I brought this up on the air once because I'll be at a red light, and as I start to take off, the car next to me starts.
Yeah,
then goes.
It's a feature.
It's a feature?
Yeah, it now shuts down. I'm assuming it's to
I think that's electric cars.
It's not electric cars. I promise you, it's not. It's on. It's
gas-powered cars.
Yes.
Not hybrid. We're talking straight gas.
It's a feature on cars. It will shut down while you're
For
at a stop.
what purpose?
I think it's to conserve fuel economy or
I thought
for
they always
emission.
said
I don't know,
it costs you more in fuel to stop and restart your car.
Blitz Nation can help me out with this because I know
please.
I know it's gas powered as well.
Let me tell you something that I have noticed, though, because I had that like lane assist or whatever in the rental car. I did eventually turn it off, but I noticed that I pull right a lot. So I'm like kind of, I'm sort of maybe a little too right in the lane.
Get back over here on the
Yeah,
left.
that lane assist was constantly engaged. Constantly.
There's probably somebody right now. You can't be too right, MAGA!
You're too right.
Chad said it's the auto start-stop system, and Kurt says my gas car does it.
Yes, thank you. Told you.
Auto stop start system.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
I thought it was just something electric cars did. I thought that's what I was hearing.
CC, no. We have weddings this weekend. We are not going to Louder Than Life, but thank you for asking.
I think Ronnie will be there.
Ronnie might be, yeah. Have fun and live vicariously through us.
I wish I was going.
I don't like the venue for Louder Than Life. I never have. It's either a swamp. If it's wet and it's rainy, it's a mud pit. If it's not, it's dry and miserable. So...
Well, there's no pleasing you at Louder Than Life.
Why is dry miserable?
Oh, it's just dusty and hot, and it sucks. Anybody who's been there can attest to what I'm talking about.
Well, for all you people planning to go, listen, it's just going to suck,
it's just
according
going
to
to
Lewis.
You just refund your tickets. No, I'm kidding. It's a great lineup. It should be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, there's no going back now, buddy. You dug your hole.
I didn't say everybody. I just said I don't like the venue. I never said anybody else had to share my opinion. I don't like that venue. I never have.
Let's see. Oh,
somebody said it's for emissions when your car stops.
That's what I thought.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, emissions. Not to save your fuel, but to
Emissions.
to save the rest of society from your fuel.
Yeah. And it's annoying because you will stop at a stoplight and it starts back up.
That's the first thing I'd turn off on my new car.
I think you can shut it down. What are you looking?
I just pulled up the forecast for Louisville, Kentucky.
Let's hear it.
Thursday, cloudy, high 75,
that's
24% chance of rain. Friday, high 72, 100% chance of rain and heavy wind.
Oh, yeah.
Woodstock.
Saturday, high of 71, 85% chance of rain all day.
It's a rain out.
Sunday, 73, and a 60% chance of showers all day.
I hate to say it, but Lewis might be right.
Oh, man.
Listen, I tell you, those kind of things you have to turn into a party.
Well, it's just like
you're committed. You've bought your expensive weekend pass. You are committed. Let's have a good time in the rain.
Well, it's like we have this drought for 2 friggin' months, and now for Louder Than Life, you're going to rain every friggin' day, all day.
Oh, that's too bad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I hope they're wrong.
Let's make the
I hope I'm
most
wrong,
of
too.
it.
I'm just saying, I don't...
Not you. I'm saying I hope this forecast is wrong.
Have either of you ever been to Louder Than Life?
No.
Okay, it's where, I believe it's Kentucky Kingdom or whatever the amusement park is. It's right next to that, and it's essentially just a giant field.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to walk, you got to huff it a little bit from the hotels to where you're going, and that's not an issue. But because it's just a giant field, it's either dust or mud.
Yeah, it's the Highland Festival grounds at the Expo Center.
Correct. But it's literally just an empty field.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. That's what it is. A big
So
big
it
field.
is, when it rains, it's mud.
So that
When
they
it's
don't
hot,
have any
it's
kind
dust.
of floor down like
No.
we do at the stadium?
No. There's a couple of places where there's like already built-in like walk path, but for the most part, yeah, you are on the grass, the mud, or the dust. It's again, and Danny does a good job of setting up the stages, and they put on a hell of a lineup every year. But I just do not like. I've never liked it there. It used to be someplace else, but I've never liked that venue, and I might never will unless they do something about what it is, and they probably won't. So
I don't know, man. It sounds like Legend Valley to me. That's what Legend Valley was, a giant field. Sometimes it was wet.
Remember what happened last year at Burning Man?
Yes.
With all the rain and everybody got
Exactly.
stuck? Well,
there you go. Careful.
but I don't know, guys. Once you get that first rain shower out of the way and you're completely soaked.
Then it doesn't matter.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
You're having a great time. You're like, I'm filthy, I'm wet, and I am in for the weekend.
That's rock and roll, baby.
I think it's a fun experience, something you never forget.
Well, Lewis doesn't like to get his shoes dirty.
I don't like his feet wet.
He doesn't want his shoes dirty, That's why he won't go in the pit. He don't want to get his shoes dirty.
That's not about his shoes dirty. I don't know about that. It's just my feet wet. Anyway.
Nobody's asking you to take your shoes off, man. Keep those dogs hidden, please.
Oh, I will. Morning Blitz Trivia. What do you got, Vic?
All right, $25 to waterbeds and stuff up for grabs if you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. Millennials rejoice. This handheld, iconic 90s toy has made a comeback in the past few years.
Pop it.
Demand was incredibly high last year. What is the toy? Again, it's a handheld, iconic 90s toy.
Game Boy.
It is back, bigger than ever. What is the toy? Tell us at 99700. Be first, and you'll get the gift card.
6:23 on the Morning Blitz. It's Vic, Kelly, and Lewis. Good morning.
What up?
Well, there's a lot to get to today. There's so much
man.
I want to say, but I'm like, nah, because we're going to do that later.
Yeah.
Nah, because we're going to do that later.
Yeah.
Nah, we're doing that later. So I'm biting my tongue over here, which is hard for me to do, in case you haven't figured that out yet.
Well, let me give you the answer to the trivia question. Take your mind off all that other
Is
stuff.
it Game Boy? Because if it's not, I'm leaving.
Bye. Did I throw you off by saying handheld?
I like a good handheld.
Can you just say the question again? Because I've already forgotten it.
All right.
From 10 minutes ago.
This handheld, iconic 90s toy has made a huge comeback in the past few years. Demand was incredibly high in 2023 for it. We did have a few guesses of Game Boy. I was surprised. I wasn't, again, I never know how many people are going to get this. There were a ton of people that got this right. It is the Tamagotchi.
Never had one.
I didn't either. But then I think you kind of had to, that was more of was it a younger kids thing, I think?
I mean, I was a kid in the 90s. I never had one.
I know.
In fact, if you would have given me one, I'd be like, what the hell do I do with this?
It's a virtual pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I got a dog. I don't need one of these.
What was the other one I hated? The Furby. Oh,
Oh, my gosh. My
it'll still come on. It still comes
my
on.
sister's kids had the Tamagotchis, but they loved Webkins. Do you remember those?
Yeah, my sister had them.
It's like a little stuffed animal, but you played online with it. Like it came with a...
Little thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something that, like a code that you could get online, and then you could play with your pet online as well.
I never wanted a virtual pet. I had a dog. Maybe this is just something for like kids that like couldn't have dogs. Here's the next best thing. And your Tamagotchi's not going to lick you when you come home, but that's okay.
Emma, who goes by Emma Lucian on YouTube, Millennial Emma they call her, says, with how the world is at the moment and how it has been for the past few years, it's nice to just look down at your little pixel pet every now and again. But the new ones, they have some upgrades from the old ones. They have the ability to play on Wi-Fi and download items. So, yeah.
Here's the thing: when you go back to those like 8-bit games and stuff like that, they're boring after you've played like newer stuff.
Yep.
I know there's like some nostalgia to it, but it to me it gets old so fast. Like there's nostalgia and it's fun for 5 minutes, and then it's like, okay,
when I first got my PS5, and you'll discover this, you can go back in your game library if you're a PlayStation Plus person, which I am.
Yeah.
Lewis _ of radio. You can get all these games from the past. And I went back and played one of the old Assassin's Creed games that I love, but I could not get past the graphics. I'm like, this blows.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, yeah, I guess this is great back in the day.
Well, that's not even 8-bit either.
No.
That's less than 8. That's 7-bit.
No, what he's talking about
I know.
was that's like 64, right?
Something like that, but it's still like it lags.
But yeah, so because demand was so high last year, the Namco, the Bandai Namco company that makes them, opened its first brick and mortar store in the UK this year. That's how big these things have gotten, the Tamagotchis.
What was your favorite toy as a kid? Did you guys have a favorite toy growing up? And this is probably a bigger question than for this second right here, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'd like to think about it for a while.
Yeah, Atari was yours?
Atari was pretty big. I also loved slot car racing.
Okay.
And rockets. Model rockets that you shoot off.
See, I was different. I liked a good stick. You gave me a good stick.
Oh, yeah,
that was
staff, a bow staff?
Shaped like a good-looking sword.
Yeah, man. Sure.
It didn't cost anything.
Right.
Until my parents threw it away when I left it on the porch.
Yeah, we used to make bow staffs and nunchucks.
Absolutely. Steal some of your grandma's yarn and make some nunchucks.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Kids don't do that anymore.
I had a baby tender love. I loved her.
What is baby tender love?
Well, look
That
it
sounds
up.
like a great
It's a
porn
baby
star
doll.
Stretch Armstrong, Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
This is all before me.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. All right, well, Dylan Ricketts from Pickerington was the first one to text in Tamagotchi, so Dylan's got $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
Who's got something first this morning?
I do.
What do you got?
Fever 333 canceled their fall tour. And lead singer Jason Alon posted about it on Instagram.
I come to you admittedly a bit uncomfortable and afraid, but grateful for the opportunity to be honest. Recently, I've been faced with my most significant and challenging struggle with depression. And in a rather unusual turn of events, I became deeply depressed at a time where one would expect to be excitedly anticipating the release of a new album and a tour to support it. And while I'm no stranger to these feelings, this time was different. And the mental period of anguish eventually devolved into physical ailments that affected not only me, but my family, my friends, and everyone around me. And I realized, I need to delve into the root cause of my sadness. I probably have needed to do this for, I have needed to do this for quite some time. So in light of this, I have to announce that I'll be canceling the Fever tour.
It's really sad, but I'm glad he's taking care of himself. Jason Alon, famously married to Jen Wigmore, who, I love Jen Wigmore.
You love Jen Wigmore.
But I think they met at like the Vans Warped Tour back in the day, in the mid 2015 or so. They got married, had a couple kids. They're still married, and it was really sad. Fever 333 is just getting ready to release their new album October 4th. It's called Darker White. And it's been teased with a lot of singles here. But anyway, our best to Jason Alon. That must have been really hard for him to talk about that. And
I would imagine.
Cancel a tour and, like we always talk about the support acts and all that are impacted too. But, at some point, your own health has to take you have to be in the driver's seat with your own health. He's got to take top priority here.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm glad he's doing it now rather than let it, going out and continuing on and having it getting worse. And then who knows what ends up happening, you know.
And this guy, it's interesting. He's part of that, or he at least was part of that straight edge community. The
no drugs,
no drugs, no
drinking,
tobacco, nothing. But he's really wild, and he just really embraces life and all that. So anyway, our best to Jason Alon. Sorry about the the cancellation of the Fever 333 tour.
Yeah, I remember seeing them at Rock on the Range, and they put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
You're right, though.
Gets into the audience and just went off. I'm like, this is how you do a show.
Yep.
You're right, though, Kelly. If you don't face those problems, they don't get any better.
Right.
And going out on the road probably is not conducive to, fixing your situation.
Right.
So.
All right, I've got something.
What you got?
I've got Brett Favre. He was on the Hill yesterday testifying before Congress about the welfare fraud scandal that he got caught up in. He's not facing any charges. He got scammed by a biotech company with ties to the case that claimed to be developing this concussion drug, and that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to be part of developing this. And there was funds that were allegedly misspent, and he paid those back over $1 million. But the bigger thing was the revelation that came out of this, because Favre, the whole concussion thing and the brain and everything is very near and dear to his heart. And here's what he had to say.
I wanted to help my alma mater and benefit the community. Sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believed was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought would help others. And I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me, because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This is also a cause dear to my heart.
So Brett Favre has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And you have your doubts, Lewis.
I saw when all this story came out, and there's a lot of sports sites that have covered this. For the record, let me preface this by saying I'm a diehard Brett Favre fan. In fact, one of the last gifts that my grandmother got for me before she passed away was a book about Brett and Favre written from his mother's perspective, which my dog Bruce Lee decided to chew as a chew toy one day. That was a bad day. So I'm a diehard Favre fan. I have a Favre jersey from every team he's played on. One of them signed. However, when all that stuff came out about the Mississippi scandal, there were a lot of text messages that came out from him that just made it look shady, asking questions like, is the media going to find out where the money comes from? Like, there was a lot that came out that, do I believe the doctor may have scammed him into this? Sure. But I also think that, he might have got caught up in how to get money and, didn't necessarily care where it came from. And I don't know. There's a lot of gray area there. Again, I don't know, so I can't say for 100% certainty. But he doesn't look, and I feel for him now. And the Parkinson's thing doesn't surprise me because he probably has taken a ridiculous amount of concussions over the course of his career. But I'm not sure. Like, I have my doubts about how innocent he truly is in all of this. Just because, how many times have we said it? You got loads and loads and loads of money. You didn't keep that or get there by being nice all the time.
Well,
and again,
I mean, so the money for this, though, was collected donations.
Sure.
But it was misspent. That was the issue.
But there was
and it was all paid back.
But there was also, hey, we'll give you the money and we'll call it a speaking engagement that you never speak. And he did pay it back. I understand that. But it doesn't change the fact of where it came from. And had you not got caught, would you have had to pay it back? And it's not just him. There's the city commissioner. There's a bunch of other people that are involved in this too. He's just one of like 10 or 15 people where it all is said and done.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just there's a lot of shady stuff that happened there. And again, don't get it wrong, for Brett Favre to go, I had to pay back over $1 million. Dude's worth 200 and something.
Oh, is he really?
Oh, God,
that much?
Favre's sitting on a boat, and he lives in Mississippi. Come on.
Right.
Favre is sitting on a boat. Favre paying back $1 million is the equivalent of us paying back $100. Or maybe even less. Like, so stop. Don't worry. Brett's going to be able to buy his groceries this weekend, I promise you. So I don't know. There's just some shady stuff there. And I love Favre. I really do. But this is definitely...
sound like it.
I know. This is definitely left
worth $100 million.
A black mark on it. You know. Don't you remember those Wrangler ads?
Oh, that's right. And Copperfit.
Copperfit?
Yeah, huge endorsements with those. I forgot about those. Because it's not like he played at a time where they were getting $50 million a year.
No, but he wasn't the guy out there with 17 cars and 14 houses and everything else. He has his compound in Mississippi.
A truck and a piece of land in Mississippi.
That's it. I got something that has nothing to do with Brett Favre. Do you guys know what CRV means?
Oh, I had a CRV.
The vehicle?
I've had two CRVs.
Yeah, so that's the the compact version of an SUV, but it's compact recreation vehicle.
It's comfy road vehicle.
No, it's a compact recreation vehicle. What are you talking about?
Comfy road vehicle. No.
Am I wrong?
You're kind of close, but comfortable runabout vehicle.
Oh, hey!
I
so
know.
comfy is in the title.
Not what it stands for.
The CRV and Honda CRV stands for comfortable runabout vehicle.
Comfortable runabout vehicle. I absolutely love it.
Do you know what, if you ever seen a Camaro RS, do you know what the RS means?
Rad sports car?
Rally Sport.
Rally Sport, yeah.
Hey.
In case you were wondering what some of the letters mean after a car. But yeah, comfortable runabout vehicle.
Comfortable runabout. Runabout. It's so British.
Right?
Let's runabout.
A Japanese car with a British phrase.
All right, we're both right.
What?
It says here, looking at what does CRV mean? Compact recreation vehicle, also known as comfortable runabout vehicle.
Hey.
Wow. Okay.
Is there anything about comfy road vehicle?
Comfy road vehicle?
Well, you just said it in the slang term. It's comfortable runabout
Kelly read the
vehicle.
Urban Dictionary version of what.
The comfortable runabout vehicle is comfy road vehicle. I mean, that's it. Yeah. So now we have three.
Similar. Anyway, that's what we got. It's the Morning Blitz, 6:50 thick. Kelly Lewis and Vivian said, Disturbed is badass and enough to wake someone up on your way to work. Guys,
yeah, they'll do that.
I mean it. Thank you. So, I said the word. I told you guys about the homeless guy that I've encountered over the last week or so, right?
You gave him a Skyline gift card.
Gave him a Skyline
really
gift
awesome.
card. He is living out of his car. I saw him again yesterday, and something hit me last night. I don't really know what it was, but I was driving around last night, and I said to myself, I want to check on the homeless guy. I want to see what's going on, because it had rained a little bit earlier, and it was kind of, I think it was windy, and it was a little cool last night. Anybody notice it cooled off quite a bit last night? I wanted to see what this guy was up to. So I drove by, and I saw him there with his dog, and I saw a ton of people in the park, and I didn't see anybody talking to him or whatever, so I pulled up, and I walked up, and I just said, hey, I just wanted to see if you're okay. And kind of the same thing he said before, times are tough, or whatever. And I said, can I get you anything? I said, I know I told you before that I don't have the ability to offer you a place to stay, but can I get you anything? And he said, no, I think we're good. We don't have a lot of room in the car, but... And I said, are you sure? And he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm like, can I get you dinner or something? Because I was going to bring him a QPC. And he said, no. He's like, I'd love a chicken sandwich from Wendy's. I'm like, all right, cool. A chicken sandwich. He's like, yeah, just a chicken sandwich with some honey mustard. And I'm like, got you. I'm like, you want anything to drink? No, I'm trying to stay away from junk food because I can't really move around because it's just, I'm kind of tethered to the dog. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, anything else? I'm like, can I go to the store for you? Because someone had suggested, I posted this on my socials, someone had suggested getting him like toiletries and stuff from the store. So I'm like, all right. And he's like, no, I'm fine, really. He's like, unless, maybe just a loaf of bread. I'm like, all right, cool, and some bologna. So I'm like, all right. So I literally go to the store, and as I'm walking, are you okay?
Just had to sneeze. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I thought, I'm like, so I'm walking through the store, and I don't know what hit me because I am an a-hole. But I'm tearing up as I go through the store shopping for this guy. So I grab him some bananas. I grab him a thing of apples. I got some dog treats for his dog. I grab a loaf of bread. I grab bologna. And I'm like, put my sunglasses on in the middle of Meijer because I'm like, I feel for this guy for whatever reason. I don't know what hit me.
Get some mustard?
No. He didn't ask. So then I go and I check out and I get all this stuff. I got him a fresh bottle of water because he said he had water at the park, which he does. But I got him a clean bottle of water. and some other stuff. And he said he had food for the dogs. So I get all that stuff in. And then I go to Wendy's. And the guy at Wendy's, I swear to God, if he would have took off his shirt and he would have had a no regrets tattoo across his chest, it would not have shocked me at all. So, because the drive-thru was busy, and I'm like, I'm going to go in because I don't want this guy to wait anymore. So I go in, and I get a chicken sandwich for him, and I got a burger for the dog. I asked for a side of honey mustard, and damned if I get in the car, there's no honey mustard. So then I got to swing into KFC just long enough to get the honey mustard for this guy. So I took him the sandwich and everything. Ended up talking with him for about 15 or 20 minutes. I still don't know what caused his plight and what situation he's in, but his name's Ron, and his dog's name's Nordberg. He named him after a racetrack in Germany. And he said it's his second German Shepherd he's had. He's like, this one was abused, so he took it on, and he couldn't, bear to leave him behind. So he got there, and he can't figure out what's wrong with his car, why it won't start, and everything. And I just kind of left it with...
I thought he was going to jump on YouTube.
No.
To fix his car for him.
I thought that. I see where you're going with that, but I didn't. But I thought about it. I talked to him for a little while, and, I said I'd come back and check on him in a day or so or whatever and see how he's doing or whatever. But I gave him all the groceries and everything. And I could tell that, he was, swallowing his pride to accept it all. And, I could tell that, he was kind of an emotional thing. And, I kind of drove away, a little bit of and I don't know why, because I don't know this guy at all.
Well, you have a heart, obviously.
I do not stop.
Sorry, you've revealed it now. Everybody knows.
But I really I feel for this. I don't know what about this guy that I feel. Maybe it's the dog because I'm a dog guy, but I feel for this dude's plight. I truly do. And I don't want to tell the police because I don't want the police to kick him out of the park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the park, he's got water, a place to go to the bathroom, and it's relatively safe. I don't want him to get kicked out, especially with his dog. And he can't go anywhere because of his dog. So, there's a limit to what but I saw his clothes, and, his clothes are rat. His hat is seen better day. I just feel bad for this guy. And I kind of want to know the backstory, but I don't want to intrude.
You'll be back there next year. What size do you wear? You're going to be off to get him some clothes next.
Some clothes. Yeah, I just don't know. I want to know what put him in that situation. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry to inform you, Lewis, but you're a good dude. Sorry, man. Just accept it.
It just bother. And maybe I'm being nosy. I don't know. But I feel everybody's one bad day away from a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Stuff happens, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's your update on the homeless guy. His name's Ron, and his dog's name's Nordberg.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Springfield residents are telling their local representatives that they have concerns about safety. Citizens packed City Hall last night for the commission meeting, their first session since the community's been in the national spotlight. Several residents said they feel uneasy sending their kids to school because of the recent threats, while others say the local streets are unsafe because of unlicensed immigrant drivers. There was also a very noticeable law enforcement presence in the meeting. Springfield has dealt with ongoing bombing and shooting threats since former President Trump and Senator J.D. Vance made claims that local Haitian immigrants were eating pets. A Haitian advocacy group has filed a citizen-initiated criminal charge against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance over those statements. And the Clark County Prosecutor's Office will have to decide whether there is probable cause to move forward with that case. Tropical Storm Helene is forecast to rapidly intensify into a Category 3 hurricane and strike the Gulf Coast this week as a major hurricane. Tropical storm warnings and hurricane watches are in effect for nearly the entire Gulf Coast of Florida. A map from the National Hurricane Center shows the storm developing and blowing north through the Florida Panhandle tomorrow night. Tallahassee is in the center of the forecast path. A former employee of a nonprofit organ recovery group has claimed she was asked to harvest organs from a person who was still living. And then she was fired a few days after writing a letter to Congress about it. 38-year-old Nicoletta Martin spoke with the Wall Street Journal yesterday, describing how she was fired from Kentucky organ donor affiliates about a week and a half ago, just days after she wrote this letter to a House subcommittee about the enormous pressure on organ collectors to get people to donate their organs while still alive. And this isn't just taking one kidney and leaving you with another, or taking a piece of a liver. This is giving your organs over because you are about to die. And they're asking you, basically, the accusation is that some of these places are giving potential organ donors doses of fentanyl to hasten their death so they can get the organs out of them. Some of these groups are being accused of regularly engaging in unethical activities for the sole purpose of trying to keep their lucrative government contracts, their organ harvesting contracts. So, there is a liver transplant surgeon at the University of Alabama who was in this article, this Wall Street Journal article. His name's Robert Cannon. He told the committee who's investigating how he was told to procure organs from a breathing patient, which he said would have been murder. Yeah. He was going to take the entire liver. He was pressured to do that. A person who was still breathing. They were not officially pronounced dead yet. And they're like, just take the liver out now.
Did
they need the liver now, even though the guy's still breathing.
These idiots not think that people would go, wait a minute, I can't do that.
Yeah.
What are they
now,
thinking?
They do say that there are surgeons like this man who say, absolutely not, I will not do that. It's unethical. But they are, I guess, encouraged to find surgeons who will do it. And there are some out there.
I'd be raising my hand. Look, dude, before you do this liver's seen a lot of booze in the mid-2000s. You're probably not this isn't the one you want.
So there are investigations happening now from attorneys generals at various states like Kentucky to this subcommittee, this House subcommittee.
Well, is the woman who got fired? She's got to be suing, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, she should not have been sued. She's protected under the whistleblower.
No, she should be suing them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's protected under the whistleblower law, so she should be at least do a settlement.
Yeah,
if nothing else. But yeah, that's a scary little I don't know, society happening there.
That's a horror movie of some sort.
Yeah,
sure.
The guy's still breathing.
Drama.
He's going to die in probably 12 hours. But so let's get his liver now. No.
Just give him a shot of fentanyl.
You can't do it.
Take it.
All right, those are your 3 things.
Highly suspects on the Morning Blitz. It is 7:11 with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Cloudy, showers, storms, 79 today if you are paying attention to the weather. And our friend Chase Patterson is, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow, the 26th, he's at Watts Comedy. Chase is a funny dude, so if you need a midweek laugh, check it out. Here's your headline for Florida or not. You guys, a man tried to lock customers into a Starbucks using a bike chain.
I have a take on this.
Do you?
I think it's Put in Bay, Ohio, because first of all, it's a bike community. Second of all, it's an alcohol community. And that sounds like an alcohol-fueled bike crime.
Okay.
David Ropp said, this sounds more like East L.A. I'm going not Florida.
Okay.
I'm kind of with David on that one.
All right. Well, it is kind of 23-year-old James Thrash, which is kind of a badass name.
Wasn't that a NFL wide receiver?
I don't know.
Thrash, yeah, James Thrash.
I don't know if it's the same one, but 23-year-old James Thrash closed the front door to a Starbucks and locked it from the outside using a bike chain with employees and customers inside. Everyone inside was alarmed for several seconds, and then they just exited out the other door. It looks like there were 2 other exits along with a drive-through window. It's unclear what James's point was. He was apparently in the Starbucks earlier and was, for some reason, asked to leave. He's facing charges of terrorizing and false imprisonment. Perhaps he was embarrassed, because if you don't know what you're ordering in Starbucks, it can be one of the most intimidating places in the world to try to order anything. And the baristas all look at you like you're dumb if you don't know what you want to order.
I've never had that experience. They've always been really helpful to me. Where are you going to Starbucks? In Compton?
If you're in a Starbucks, like let's say you're at a primetime Starbucks in the morning when everybody's trying to get their coffee and you're the person that's trying to navigate the menu for the first time.
They roll their eyes pretty hard.
Yeah, they're all like, look, novice, you need to read that ish online before you come in here.
Can we come back and talk about that exact topic?
Yeah, why can't we?
There was something I saw today about that exact topic.
Of course we can.
Yeah.
But anyway, James Thrash is a proud resident of Louisiana.
And he played for the Eagles and the Redskins.
I don't think this is the same dude. Alice in Chains on the Morning Blitz. They will be support one of the nights for Metallica at Sonic Temple 2025. It's Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis on the Morning Blitz.
By the way, if you didn't hear, we are waiting 90 seconds. When we start the song that you're listening for the Sonic Temple tickets, we are waiting 90 seconds before we start taking the calls. because of the people listening online who are listening in delay.
We also will not be playing said song until after 8 a.m.
Yes.
So-
But we have the Beartooth song this hour. Hopefully
do.
you were listening and know what that is. We will do the same with that. We'll wait 90 seconds and then start taking the calls.
Look at you being a good guy.
I mean, people were texting. It's like, I can't win because we're in delay and, you're taking caller 9. So it's roughly a little over a minute delay. So, I want to make sure everybody has a chance, man.
Can I tell you that people love you? I showed you the video that Christopher sent me yesterday of the dude with a fish attached to his ass.
Yeah, I was trying to understand it.
Kelly, get a look at that. He's like, could you not see Thick Rick?
That's a huge fish.
It's a carp.
Hanging onto the guy's
I think it's
butt.
a carp.
Yeah. He's like, could you? He's like, he sent me this yesterday, and he's like, could you not see this Thick Rick? I'm like, oh yeah,
But why is
Skechers
he
and all.
Why is he hanging from a bridge
I don't know.
with a carp holding on to his ass?
I don't have the previous content. I only have the video.
I don't
And I
have
laughed out loud as soon as
so
I
many
got
questions.
It isn't really funny.
it. It is, right? I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
So many questions.
I can see Rick Carp got me.
That carp's not trying. That carp wasn't caught, though. That carp's trying to eat him. That carp's pissed at that guy for
I'm
some
a bass
reason.
fisherman. Anyway.
Yeah, don't bother you guys.
So you have issues with Starbucks.
I don't have issues with Starbucks. People do. It's bizarre because you brought that up, and I saw this story this morning from this new study that says more than 50% of coffee drinkers are afraid to say their customized drink out loud when ordering because they don't want to be drink shamed. Because there's so many things involved in a Starbucks coffee. So many things you can, how many shots of this and what, and all of that.
You want to know my drink order?
Coffee, flavored coffee.
It is it's a venti oat milk chai latte, no water, extra hot. That is my Starbucks order.
I'm a matcha green tea latte with almond milk.
What size?
Grande.
Ooh, okay. That's very respectable.
But I mean,
I like a venti because I never go, so I need it as large as possible.
But see, I know it can be intimidating because a lot of people don't realize you can sub almond milk or skim milk or no whip plus whip. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that
I
goes
do
in
that.
Starbucks.
I understand. I understand why nobody wants to
I'll
say
do a
it.
cinnamon dolce latte, no whip.
Yeah.
I love that. I normally go to Starbucks with a pro. One of my closest friends, Karen, she is a Starbucks pro. She is there almost every day, and she will help me with an order if I'm not quite sure. And she is the customized order queen.
Double decaf, non-fat latte, medium foam, dusted with just the faintest whisper of cinnamon.
I'll have a black coffee.
I think that's on the
Frasier.
I
That's from
think that
Frasier.
is on the very, very first episode of Frasier.
Oh, is that the first
Yeah,
one?
I think so.
That's hilarious.
The last person I expected to send in their Starbucks order, Mike Funk.
No way.
Venti caramel swirl frappuccino with extra caramel drizzled with around the cup with extra caramel crunchies. That's my Starbucks order. Mike Funk, you are the last dude on the planet I thought that would have a Starbucks order.
Well, and let alone having to say crunchies out loud. That's so brave. I'm proud of you.
I don't know if you heard me, Kelly. I told Rick off the air, Mike Funk would be Cousin Eddie. If we were sitting here and we said, I want someone to bring my boss right here, right now. I want him to wake him up from his happy holiday slumber up there with all the other rich people and bring him right here. Mike Funk would be the dude walking in with the guy.
Showed up. Yep, absolutely. Hands tied behind his back.
Kicking him in the ass as he's walking up the step.
I'll have a black coffee.
Five Finger Death Punch, remember everything. That was the song you were listening for. If you wanted to win tickets to Beartooth at 7:38 on the Morning Blitz with Dick Kelly and Lewis, and congratulations.
Christopher Owens from Canal Winchester. Got the Beartooth tickets. That show coming up on Saturday, January 18th. Tickets go on sale next Friday, October 4th, 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. Support with Dayseeker, Sleep Theory, and Boundaries.
I thought it was Sleep Token.
No, Sleep Theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. For some reason, I thought it was the other one.
No,
I could be wrong. I bet
Boys
that's been
from
known.
Sonic.
That's been known to happen. A lot.
Yeah, so that means we'll have them for Blitzmas in December and then again in January with Beartooth.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
I love Sleep Theory.
I do too. Good guys. Happy to hear them succeed. So we're talking, Kelly brought this up, storage units.
Yes. Okay, well, I was watching, it's funny because it sort of coincides with your move, Lewis, and I had watched a couple videos that came up this week on TikTok of people saying, if you have a storage unit for more than like 2-3 months, like you need to just get rid of all that stuff and save yourself the money. That storage units are an enormous waste of funds because people usually drop their stuff off and then just never use it again. That's just it. That's the life. That it's done. It's dead. That's a graveyard for your stuff.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So why waste the money? Just get rid of all. I'm sure it's not everybody's case, but
Right.
Lewis was saying, you were saying that you are moving stuff into a storage unit as you're moving into a new place.
I have stuff in the storage unit because I had a full apartment when I was in Indianapolis, and all of that stuff is in my storage unit. It has been for a couple of years now.
Like furnishings, couch,
like
chair,
legit
end tables.
furniture.
Yeah, couch,
Yeah.
love seat, tables, bed frame, some clothes, some signed stuff.
Guaranteed you could get rid of those
Guitars.
clothes. You don't need them.
No,
You don't need them.
I do.
How long have they been in there?
I swap them out. So, like, at some point in time, I will have to take my shorts back to the storage unit and crate them up and bring my sweaters and hoodies out.
What are you living in a
What?
800 square foot home? You live in a house. You don't have room for summer and winter clothes?
But I like to have more room. What's wrong with keeping? Why, is that weird that I do that?
It is. A little bit. I've
I
never
can
heard
tell.
of that. I've heard of people having separate closets. Like if you use like a second bedroom that you're not using, that'll be where your winter clothes go in the summer.
Well-
I've heard of people switching out their closets, but never using a storage unit as a closet.
That might be what people with chandeliers do, but me, I have to use a storage unit. I don't have a summer
Do you
closet.
guys
or a
have-
Seriously,
winter
though, you don't have a
closet.
dresser at home?
Yeah, it's filled with stuff.
Okay, you just having an enormous collection of clothes for each season.
I don't know if it's enormous, but I have.
It needs a storage unit.
No, the furniture needs a storage unit.
Okay.
So I have a ton of furniture that's in there. Pictures, paintings.
So you will say that everything in your storage unit
Is not a graveyard.
Is useful to you.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid
Not
of it.
right now,
Not
but
right
it
now,
will
but
be
it
in
will
the future.
At some point in time.
That's what everybody. That's what the thing that everybody fools themselves with. I'll need it in the future. That's what a hoarder says.
I am not a hoarder.
Yeah, I get your situation. Because, Kelly, one day, well, we think maybe, possibly, Lewis will find a girl and settle down, and he'll get his own full home, and he'll need a place to put. He'll need all that furniture that he's got in there.
First of all, I encourage you to find a woman, okay? Not a girl. You need a woman
whatever.
who can help you with your closeting issues.
Sometimes
All right.
sometimes when I'm bored, I go to my storage unit and I unpack it all and set it all up in the parking lot there and sit on the couches and stuff. Okay, no, I don't. But
Have you ever thought about moving into your storage facility?
yeah, absolutely, I have.
Okay, so Kelly...
I don't have enough room though. I'd have to get a bigger one.
Kelly sent me this TikTok link of this guy talking about storage units, but then I clicked on the hashtag storage unit.
Yes.
There are a lot of people living in storage
Yeah.
units.
Oh,
I
yes.
was blown away. That's a whole thing going on.
It's a thing. Yes, it is.
I was like, well, it is cheap.
It's cheaper than an apartment.
I mean, they are set up. It's all set up.
Are they, though? Because
Well,
there's no
I mean,
toilet in there.
No, and a lot of them, you have a gym membership, so they go to the gym every day and work out and shower and use the bathroom. And I don't know what you do when you all of a sudden need to go to the bathroom when you're in your storage unit. I don't know. Can you watch? I don't know. Is there electric in them? Can you watch
Yeah, it's
television?
electric, but just like for a little tiny light bulb that hangs out of the top of the thing.
You'd have to do some You'd have to do some engineering.
Okay.
I couldn't live in mine. I don't have enough space.
Oh, it's also illegal. You're not allowed to live out of
Oh,
them.
is that right?
Yes.
Well,
do you think any storage facility
Yeah.
allows people to live
You
out
didn't
of
know
their
that was illegal?
Well, how do they not know all these people are doing it?
Mine has a camera everywhere, so you can see.
Well, you
who's
would think
pulling
they
in.
all do.
Right. There's also cameras on the ends of mine, so when you pull down, you see what car pulls down, and you have to. It's gated. You have to have a code to get through the gate.
Yeah, I know. Because I usually put my boat in a storage unit for the winter. For 3 or 4 months.
You also need mine only. I have quiet hours at mine. I can't go into mine after between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So I can only access mine from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're renting the storage unit, though, you have access to the gate, so you can get in there.
But it has to be habitable in order to be considered a living quarters. By law, there have to be certain things in an area to make it habitable.
I think a bathroom is one, right?
It has to be. I would think.
So here's the guy's honest personal finance on TikTok that Kelly sent me.
You do not need a storage unit. If that stuff was so important, it would be inside your house. But it's not important enough. That's why you're putting it in a storage unit. You're going to spend over $2,000 to store something that might be worth $200. Don't complain when you're broke.
Don't complain when you're broke.
I had no choice. I had to move my stuff out of an apartment and move it into a storage unit. We had too much stuff.
Yeah, I don't criticize your situation at all. I guess the things that I think are interesting are when you have a storage unit or two and you are just storing things that you absolutely never look at.
Right.
You don't, they're in a box. A lot of stuff in my basement, I never look at. It's in a box in my basement that I absolutely, if I never saw it again the rest of my life, it would be fine.
I never had a storage unit until the pandemic. When the pandemic happened and I was working from home for a year and a half, I did not need an apartment in Indianapolis. I could work from anywhere. So I went back to Ohio and I put my stuff in storage. And then when I took it back out of storage, moved into an apartment. And then when that ended, I moved it back into storage. So I never had it. I don't have it just for the fun of it. It was a necessity.
What do you pay a month? Would you mind saying?
$160.
$160 a month. Okay.
Oh, for the storage unit.
Yeah, $160 is my storage unit. Doug, is that where you keep your nude picture of you with grapes strategically placed? No, it's just a picture of me nude laying in a hammock with my dogs strategically placed. But
you went back to Ohio.
We could talk more about storage units. What?
Chrissy Hine went back to Ohio and her city was gone.
Uh-oh.
So the last thing I heard you say, Lewis, yesterday was you have 0 room left in your storage unit.
Not 0. I got 2 or 3 feet.
Okay.
But are
you ready?
On the threshold.
Are you ready to get a second? Is what I'm asking.
No. It's Papa Roach on the Morning Blitz. Kelly Quinn, Lewis, Thick Rick. Clouds, isolated showers and storms today. 79 for your high. Talking about storage units. I'm a unique situation though.
Well, your moving situation's unique because you've moved into essentially in a furnished place. You're moving out of that and essentially into something that you don't need a ton of furniture for.
Correct.
So you've got to, I get that. I do.
I will not, my stuff that's in my storage unit it is not a graveyard. In fact, I go in and I'm like, man, I miss my stuff.
Yeah, you want your stuff. You want a place where you can bring your stuff.
My stuff. I have some cool stuff.
I think it's... I guess the piece that interests me the most is that you do use it as a closet to switch out your seasonal clothes.
Yeah.
So you'll go at some point, probably in October, November, and switch your shorts for your long pants?
I keep jeans, because you never know when you're going to need them.
But your sweaters or whatever you wear
the only thing
winter.
I switch out is I switch out shorts for hoodies and sweaters.
You just can't keep them all in your house year round. There's just not enough room for all those hoodies.
Could I? Yes. Would I? No.
Yeah, you just want... Okay, I got you. You're just a neat fella. I got you.
Ray says, good morning. I've seen many public storage unit managers post videos about people living in units. Says they only kick you out if you make a lot of noise. If you are quiet, they don't care.
Oh, wow. I couldn't live in mine. Granted, I don't have the room. I'm trying to think what's in mine. One side of mine is all pots, pans, kitchen stuff.
Jay says that's where you film your OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That feels like a really sad OnlyFans from a storage unit.
Right. I don't know. You'd be surprised how a good pose can come out on a stack of crates. It works.
It's unique.
It's unique. Now, I do know people who sell stuff that keep stuff in storage units. In fact, I think one that's next to mine, there's a guy that always is carting in and out of stuff that he's like selling or auctioning or whatever. A lot of people use them for that.
Yeah.
Some people use them for vehicles.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of boats and cars and stuff.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, I don't know that they do have climate controlled ones. I don't know that I could live in one. I mean, I guess desperate times you do what you got to do.
David texted, the lady I work with complains about never having enough money. Found out she has 3 storage units, and 2 of them she's had for 20 years.
Well, gee, I wonder why you're broke.
I feel like there should be, in your own mental space, you should say, I'm getting this storage unit, but my goal is to, like, only do 3 years. Like, I really feel like I could pull everything out or get rid of everything within, like, I'm not having one for 20 years. What's in there? That's just like...
my stuff.
Yeah, it's just stuff you don't need. You're paying to store things you don't need and you don't use.
Yeah. Now, there are people who can't part with stuff. And you do see a lot of it. And I think that's the difference between hoarding is. Like, hoarding, you can't part with anything.
Yeah.
Like, me, it's just where my stuff, at some point in time, I will need that stuff. And I get, and a lot of it is a bunch of memorabilia. There's probably stuff that is out of style in there, but there's a lot of memorabilia in there. Like, a lot of my art is in there. I have some guitars and autographed guitars that are in. Like, I have a lot of stuff. I do have a lot of stuff, and some of it I probably at some point in time will part with, but a lot of it, I love my couches because I had them custom made, and then that's not a brag. It's just, I knew a buddy of mine.
It feels like a brag, but go on. Do you have a chandelier in there?
No.
With your custom-made couches?
I do not, but I got mine because a buddy of mine, we were working his band a few years back trying to get him signed, and he was the stage manager for a lot of the shows that I did. His family owned a furniture store. That was their business, so he custom-made couches for me because I couldn't find anything I liked. So he had them custom-made.
In lieu of paying you?
Yeah.
Very nice. I love that trade. That's a great trade.
So, yeah. So that's not, I didn't walk in and order custom couches to go with my chandelier. It wasn't like that. Well, I grabbed my latte while I waited.
David just texted in again. He said the 3rd storage unit that girl bought was when her mom passed away, and she can't bring herself to get rid of any of it. And he said she is definitely a hoarder, though.
Well, I get the psychological challenges when you're dealing with the death of a loved one. You know, you don't want to get rid of that stuff. But I feel like at some point, Lewis, will you agree that if you still have that storage unit packed full in 5 years, that we could set up an eBay shop and just like really take pictures of all that stuff and let's just unload it for some cold hard cash. That's what it is.
If I still have all that stuff in storage in 5 years, I won't need a 23 and out plan. The out plan will come a lot sooner.
Doug said, James, when will my custom-made Davenport be ready?
Davenport.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Ohio Task Force 1 is setting up in Florida today ahead of Tropical Storm Helene. The weather system is expected to strengthen into a major hurricane today before making landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast tomorrow night. Over 80 members of the Ohio group are staging in Orlando so they can more easily move into areas that are impacted by the storm. The task force includes first responders, medical professionals, and search and rescue operators from Central Ohio and across the state. The CEO of Novo Nordisk is on the hot seat over the high cost of the company's popular weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy. Yesterday, senators questioned Lars Jorgensen and demanded answers for why the U.S. is charged a higher price for those drugs than other countries. Novo Nordisk charges $969 per month for Ozempic in the U.S. compared with $59 in Germany. So why the big price difference? Senator Bernie Sanders said Americans should be treated the same as people across the globe and demanded the company stop ripping us off. Jorgensen came back and said basically, hey, obesity is costing the U.S. $1.7 trillion a year. So we've committed $30 billion of our company money to help you guys with your big fat problem. I mean, I feel like we were getting fat shamed yesterday by a Danish guy. But anyway, yeah. So that's how he's trying to say, well, yeah, maybe you get charged more than Germany does, but you have a bigger obesity problem than Germany. So you should be thanking us But he said, we'll look into it. We'll see if we can lower the price.
So there's a sexy Ozempic Halloween outfit. That
Oh,
girls
yeah?
can get this year. Yeah, it's like a sexy Ozempic injector. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, well, okay.
It's the dumbest looking thing.
All right. Okay, Tommy Lee's wife, Brittany Furlan, posted a video to Instagram yesterday from her Ring camera. It's broad daylight. She had let her 2 dogs outside to pee when a coyote runs into the frame, grabs their small dog named Nina from right beside their pool, and runs off. Here's what it sounds like.
Oh.
Oh my God, a coyote grabbed Nina!
So that bleep was Tommy Lee running into the frame and yelling the F word.
That was his contribution.
But here's what happened. This is so wild. Out of frame, Brittany says she took off running after the coyote because it had Nina, the dog, in its mouth. She climbed up their wall, grabbed Nina out of the coyote's jaws. She said, thanks to Nina being a little chubby gal, the coyote couldn't make it over the wall with her. The dog was too heavy.
Oh, wow.
So she was able to get Nina back. Nina safe and okay, she said. But she was literally, this was like seeing a woman. This was like her baby. Right. You're not taking off with my baby. And indeed, she got her dog back, thankfully. But it's a wild video to see.
That happened to Jessica Simpson. Back, like 15 years ago, she was sitting out in her backyard in Calabasas, California, and a coyote jumped the fence and grabbed her little multi-poo Daisy, and gone. Never saw it again.
Oh, she didn't grab it out of the coyote's jaws.
Oh, no, he jumped in the yard, grabbed it, jumped right back out of the yard, and was gone with it.
Yeah, that's sad.
She never had a chance.
Well, I like my story because it has a happy ending.
Yes,
so those are your 3 things.
8:09 on the Morning Blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. We found out that it is, in fact, open season.
24/7, 365 on a coyote.
You can shoot them with anything. Although I like to use just a butter knife. Make it a challenge.
Okay, so I'm still asking, though, when you say you can shoot them with anything, does that mean anywhere, or do you have to be outside city limits? Does that make a difference?
Are you going to go coyote hunting?
Well, I just want to know, you know.
Well, yeah, come to my neighborhood, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing it because I want to go hunting, but if I see one in my yard, am I just allowed to shoot it right there in Columbus? That's what I'm asking.
Josh says coyotes you can shoot any time of the day or night with really any weapon. Unlike deer season here in Ohio, we're restricted to certain caliber guns, but coyotes are fair game. But that didn't answer your question if you're allowed to do it in the city limits. Do you have issues with coyotes?
No, not like that. I know they're there at night. I know I've seen their footprints.
Yeah.
You know, like especially in the winter when it's snowing, when there's snow on the ground. I've definitely seen their footprints across my porch.
Mm. So. They're nuisances. They're considered nuisances, so you can take out a nuisance.
Yep. So Diddy's a nuisance.
So am I. I should probably watch my back. Supermarket guy. Yeah, we were going kind of back and forth on the Diddy thing yesterday. It's funny because there are a lot of people now that are scrubbing their socials.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to just gloss over that going back and forth thing. I want to read this.
Go for it.
All right, so there's a text between Kelly and Lewis and I, and Kelly said, Jay-Z wiped his Instagram today. He only has 1 video posted now, and you should see the comments. Lewis says, wow, he knows the hammer's going to fall. Kelly said, everyone is posting jail memes, haha. And Lewis says, LOL, the fall of the empire is up on them. And Kelly says, you know, they're all chunking their drawers right now. And then Lewis says, yep, the purge has commenced.
There are 55,000 comments on Jay-Z's only video now. He only has 1 video, 55,000 comments, and they are absolutely all completely dogging him, putting, like I said, jail memes, people asking for justice, etc. and so forth. Somebody said, don't drop the soap. Somebody said, praying for your cellmate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are all these people that are associated with him guilty of something?
There's a lot of, there's the freak out parties that went down, which is where a lot of the legal stuff is coming from, the activities that happened at these parties. The other thing is, I think it was Bow Wow who came out the other day and said that when he was 15, he was at one of Diddy's parties and Diddy would just bring in girls and say, go ahead and enjoy it.
Oh, when he was Lil Bow Wow.
When he was Lil Bow, when he was only 15. Supposedly Beyonce was at one of these parties when she was a minor, which would track because Destiny's Child was trying to come up in the mid-90s before they actually hit. So that would probably be right around the time. Aaliyah. Yeah. The late Aaliyah was supposedly at some of these things.
I guess, you were talking about the white parties that he would have, which were, I guess, the respectable part of the night.
Yes.
After the white parties were over is when the
freak-outs.
Freak-off would happen.
Learn the logo. Or lingo.
Yeah. They say
just so you know, it plays better if you get the insult lingo right.
No, damn it.
Okay.
When the A-listers left, a more secretive, hedonistic party would begin in back rooms, featuring Diddy and a select group of friends. Is that where the 1,000 bottles of baby oil came in?
Yes, that's where all that comes into play.
But yeah, this is really, really awful, some of the accusations against. And in the video we've seen of him beating the absolute hell out of his girlfriend in the hallway of a hotel is enough to get that guy jail time.
For sure. There's a lot of Jennifer Lopez is supposedly waiting for the hammer to fall because she was involved in a lot of that stuff. And supposedly that's why Ben Affleck said, I'm done.
There's a couple new accusers. Can we come back and talk about them?
Well, I think we should. We would be doing a disservice if we did not. Lincoln Park on the Morning Blitz. It's Thick, Rick, Kelly, Quinn on Lewis. 8:23. Clouds, isolated thunderstorms today. High 79. We're talking about Diddy and everything that's going down.
What is going down right now? First of all, this guy is charged with all kinds of sex crimes, right?
Racketeering,
sex trafficking, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Now, we've seen the video of him beating up his girlfriend,
right.
His former girlfriend. We've seen that video proof.
Right.
And we've got people coming forward, right, with stories of their own.
You got two things happening. You've got some people that are scrubbing all their stuff and declaring their innocence and standing by Diddy because if they do and there's no proof, then he's going to walk away and so will they. They won't be implicated in it. Then you have the other people who come out and say, yeah, dude, this has been going on for years. You know what I mean? It just, you have two different takes on it from two different sides of people. There are the loyalists who basically won't turn against him because all their stuff will become public. And then you have the other people who go, yeah, this has needed to stop for a long time. Like you have the girls from when Diddy, remember back in the early 2000s when Diddy spent 20 years trying to make the band?
Right.
All those people have come out and said, yeah, this dude's shady, has been for years.
Yeah, another woman just came out, said that in 2001, Diddy raped her, named Thalia Graves from New York City, said Combs and his bodyguard gave her a glass of wine, caused her to pass out. She says when she woke up, she was in Combs' Manhattan studio with her hands tied behind her back and was raped by Combs and his bodyguard. That one's brand new. So it's kind of like Deshaun Watson. Once it starts, they all start coming out. You know?
Chris said, if we get the Diddy freak out before we get the Epstein list, how messed up is that? There are probably people that are on both.
Right. You bet there are.
Because you were talking about the elite of the elite. The difference is the Epstein list was a lot of politicians and a lot of special interest people, whereas the Diddy list is going to be a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio is rumored to be one of
He was at the white parties. They didn't say he was at the after freak-off parties.
Right. But he's one that's rumored, though.
But he was hanging out enough to be invited
Correct.
to a white party.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, every time this guy gets out on his boat, he's got 50 models on the boat with him.
But also, nobody is accusing Leo of anything, to be clear.
Yet.
No, but you're associated, though. Some of that's guilty by association.
See, that's why I think these people are scrubbing, just to get rid of the association. Not necessarily because they did anything wrong, but because they don't want people, accusing them of it.
There's probably a fair share of that going on, and there's probably also a bunch of freaks of the industry that were doing some stuff they didn't want to be seen doing.
We're the freaks of the industry.
Yeah.
All right, this one is bizarre. This guy, Jonathan Oddie, and I did not remember this. This happened what this guy did back in 2018. He started a shootout with police at Trump National Doral Golf Club in Miami. I don't think it had anything to do with Trump. It just, that's where it happened to take place. And he got into this shootout and he got arrested and everything. Well, his name resurfaced in the wake of the Diddy arrest because according to Jonathan Oddie, this guy that was in this shootout back in 2018, says he was Diddy's sex slave. He said that Diddy gave him an STD and Diddy paid him $5 million in a settlement.
Oh, God.
Because of it. And I'm like, that is such a bizarre, just thing with this guy that got in a shootout 6 years ago on one of Trump's golf courses.
Yeah, D.L. Hughley came out yesterday. He was talking, and he said, look, if you witnessed something go down 10 or 15 years ago, you're not a witness, and you didn't say anything about it, you're not a witness, you're an accomplice.
That's true. I would say that's true.
So it'll be curious to see. There's a lot, Justin Bieber is involved. There's a lot of... it'll be interesting to see how many minors were involved because that brings together a whole new level of charges.
Well, Lil Bow Wow.
If you have Bieber,
right?
Lil Bow Wow, Bieber, whoever else, Aaliyah, Beyonce was supposedly a minor at the time. You start bringing minors in, you've changed the implication of some of these charges drastically.
Okay, is there any way to stop this information from coming out? Because I'm really worried that it's going to be another Epstein situation.
There's rumor that Diddy has been on suicide watch since he's been locked up because he's been denied bail 2 or 3 times now. There's a big rumor that he's on suicide watch.
What if Diddy agreed to turn in every single person who was involved for a break on his own sentence?
I think he would. I think he would in a heartbeat.
And that's why these people are, the people who are standing up for him right now or claiming, I never saw anything weird happening at his parties, those are the people who are the most worried about their own skin.
For sure. But if someone offered you, would you sell out everybody for a less sentence?
1,000%. Okay. I'm selling out every single one of you. If we ever have any type of a pact of silence or anything, that's out the window if I'm threatened with jail time.
I straight up am. I'm Nino Brown. You know who did it? Christopher over there, the rich dude from the bank. He was in on it too.
CMB. Cash Money Brothers.
CMB is bigger than Nino Brown.
That's right.
Straight up. I'm coming down. I'm bringing down everybody. Scorched earth in my path.
Your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz.
Wow, look at that. We all agreed we would sell out everybody.
100%.
So,
do not ever enter a pact with me. Don't do it.
Blitz Nation, if you learned anything this morning, don't be friends with us if we're all going to commit a crime.
Yeah, man, good luck. Snitches get stitches.
Absolutely.
I'll take stitches if I get a couple years off my sentence.
It's Trivium on the Morning Blitz. Dick, Rick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis. If you're playing along, then you knew that was the song that Ronnie Hunter told you would have to listen for this morning, and boom, there it was. Trivium. Congratulations.
That would be Mark Reinhardt from Westerville. Great dad, going to hook his daughter up. He said his daughter's going to be so excited.
That is nice.
Oh, I hope she didn't hear that, and it's going to be like a gift or something.
Oh, well done.
Way to run it.
Well, I'm going to say his name. She would know if it was her dad.
Way to run it.
And now he has to give them to her, right?
That's right. You locked him in.
Way to run the surprise sketcher, man.
Well,
thanks a pant load.
I was going to say his name no matter what. She would have heard it, and she would know Dad won.
Anyway, now that Rick's ruined that, your chance to get your life ruined by Rick tomorrow morning.
I don't think she'll be disappointed if this is how she found out.
After Roddy will tell you another song today at 4:20. You'll listen again tomorrow morning for a chance to win tickets to Sonic Temple. Blitz Therapy, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. It's brought to you by Tri-State Men's Health. If you got bad sleep, low sex drive, no energy, you're unproductive, you got brain fog, all that can be from low testosterone. Don't waste any more time on things that don't work. Get yourself checked out at Tri-State Men's Health. 6 locations, Cincy, Dayton, 2 right here in Columbus on Hilliard and in Hilliard and in Westerville. Call them 800-900-9654 or tristatemenshealth.com. Who shall read said therapy letter?
I'm happy to do it.
Oh, go right ahead, life ruiner.
Life ruiner?
Dream crusher. Hope smasher.
Says, good morning, all. I was wondering how many couples have filed for divorce like it's definitely happening, but they still have needs, so they continue to hook up with their soon-to-be ex. Is this the thing? I've never been divorced, but I know every ex-girlfriend I ever had, when we broke up. So help me understand, because I currently have 2 friends. One is a guy, one is a girl, and each of them are going through a divorce, have been for the past year, yet they still have sex, and they do it a lot. And I feel like this is going to cause problems for any potential new relationship. If you meet someone new, can you immediately break it off with the future ex? I just don't get it. And that is from JT in Galloway.
You seem awfully concerned with other people's sex habits, JT. Why do you care if people who are getting divorced are still having sex?
Maybe he's thinking about it.
Now listen, I have never known a human being in a divorce, which is typically fairly acrimonious, who was not so thrilled to be moving out of the marital bed. I don't know anybody who's participating in an active sex life with somebody they are currently divorcing. That is an insane situation to me. Why are you getting divorced if you still want to hook up?
Because you don't necessarily want to live together. I've seen this happen before. This is not uncommon.
Oh, that is crazy. It is uncommon.
Well,
is
I mean,
it?
no,
I'm asking.
it's not.
I'm asking.
It's not.
How hard is it to date while you're going through a divorce?
Well, why would you be dating? Why don't you just take care of your divorce?
Well, that's what they're
you
doing,
are, but
and this
you
way
don't-
they don't have to date. They can just have.
They're still having sex with the person they're married to.
So I'm sure.
No, I think it's a great solution. I've never known a couple getting
I
divorced that
understand,
it's not acrimonious, that it's not somebody that you actually still want to sleep with. Like, you're getting divorced because it's not working, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of a human being who's still interested in sleeping with that person.
Well, because... Go ahead.
I feel like this is a dude fantasy that this is happening.
No,
This is
because
a guy fantasy.
I've heard it from girls too. One thing I hear is, man, the one thing I hate is the sex was so good. I've heard both sides.
This is a guy fantasy.
No, I've heard girls say that.
No girls saying that.
Okay? Text, please. Come on.
No girl in the middle of a divorce is saying that. I'm saying the sex can be great if you're happily married.
on.
How is sex great when you're really miserable with a human being? That's a fantasy.
Hate sex.
That is a fantasy. You guys are making this up. I don't believe it.
No, people like sex.
No, I agree. People like sex when they're happy with the other person. When they're in a good, solid relationship with the other person. You're having great sex.
What do you think a one-night stand is? They don't have a relationship. They don't have emotional connection, but they want to have good sex.
Okay, listen.
Follow Thick
the
Rick on
amount of
social media
shame-
for other life-altering revelations like that
The
one.
amount of shame that people wake up with after a one-night stand is not negligible. It is serious.
It depends on the
saying
person.
A
Right.
good, healthy sex life does not involve somebody you're divorcing.
There is a fine line between the walk of shame and the stride of pride. It solely depends on the individual.
Gosh, you guys are so crazy.
That was a good one.
It is.
Was the stride of pride?
Stride of pride.
I hadn't heard that
There's
before.
a dude right there going, hell yeah! Did it last night! Anyway, no, Kel, but what it is if you're breaking up, you don't necessarily want to be in a relationship where you see them every day, but you do want to take care of whatever needs you have, and if you're hanging out with your ex like that, your body count doesn't go up. You're not out finding some rando.
Well, you're not cheating, I
You're
guess.
not. You're right.
So that's
You're not.
nice. You're still married, even though you
Correct.
don't want to be married anymore. You're not
Correct.
cheating, so I guess that can help
And
soothe the
at
old conscience.
Right. At the same time, like, I don't have to go out and lay down some game that makes someone, oh, wow, I don't have to pretend. Like, it's convenient.
Daniel says, Kelly, we love you, but you're wrong. People love angry sex.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
so many texts. So many
I'll
texts.
take that. I've just never heard of it. It is not in my life of experience to come across any of my friends who've had a divorce that still want to sleep with their soon-to-be ex. I've never heard that before.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
saying. I guess maybe. Obviously, I'm not right, but in my experience,
You are right from your perspective and your point of view, and there's
Yes.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. Dear Penthouse, this kind of thing never happens to me.
Okay, so let's see. Mitzi says, good sex is good sex. I've hated a human, but the sex was awesome. Hallie said, it's not made up. The sex was so good, it was hard to let go even through the divorce. I'm not supposed to say that name. I am guilty of that, Kelly. Don't say my name if you read it.
Okay.
What happens if it's the opposite? What happens if the hey, you don't want to still get together? Nah, we're good. Let's just sign. Sign and release. We'll take your text or your calls, 800-821-9970.
Listen, according to the text, I am 100% wrong. I accept that. I just have never, ever heard of this in my life.
You guys are supposed to agree with Kelly. Don't you know that?
It's Pearl Jam on the Morning Blitz. We're in the middle of some Blitz therapy. It's thick. Kelly Lewis.
I think we're getting therapy for Kelly over here.
Divorce. No, there's some people that are...
I have no, zero issues in my own life. I am a happily married person. I cannot envision a scenario in which I would be getting divorced from a human being that I no longer love and would still want to hook up with that person. I have only known people who've gone through fairly acrimonious divorces where it's not been a pleasant situation. There's been a lot of fighting, at least the ones in recent memory. And neither, the two I'm thinking of would ever have any desire to sleep with that person again. That is how unattracted they became to the other person.
Carrie said, if we had politicians that would fight half as hard for us as Kelly fights for something she believes in, this country would be effing amazing. And they're not wrong.
Oh my gosh. Chris said, Chris here in Lancaster, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I do it all the time. Effing hate that bitch, but damn, the physical attraction is still there.
Okay. All right. You guys, I'm learning something new today.
See, I think that I think it depends on the level of what caused the divorce and what, you know what I mean? I think whatever factors went into why the split happened plays a part. But I also think there are some people that you have relations with and there's no emotional attachment whatsoever, and you were just, did what I got to do, I'm done. Then there are other people where there's some form of connection that's made, and it's hard to let that connection go, even if you break up.
Like this one, to your point, Lewis, Nicole says, my parents split when I was about 13. To this day, they still go on vacations together. They cook for each other. I guess basically they split over money, but they still have carried a fondness for each other to this very day.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is that's the kind of situation where that happens. I think if a person has an affair with somebody else, that may be a deal breaker when it comes to sex with the ex, I guess, is for lack of a better term. But yeah, like if one of you just is bad with money and the other one can't take it anymore, the way you're spending money and what you're costing you to the family, and they're like, no, I can't do this anymore, but you're still... Doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. You're not attracted to them anymore. Maybe it's a career. Some people will choose their career over their spouse, sure. Especially if there's no kids involved. And they're like, well, I'm moving to this state, 600 miles away, and you can come or you can stay, and they stay, but yet they still hook up.
Mitzi says, good sex is good sex. I've hated a human before, but the banging was awesome.
She hated that human when I read that text a few minutes ago.
Did you?
I got you that
Twice
time.
Again? 2 days in a row?
Got you.
Come on. Come on.
Well, you guys out there are having really interesting divorces. I just didn't know that this was happening. And somebody's shaming me because I said I had no problems. I didn't mean in life in general, just no problems in my marriage. I have zero issues in my marriage. That's why maybe I can't.
For the record, though, you should not feel any kind of shame in having a good relationship with someone that you want to spend your life with. That's the dream, and you're living that dream. There's a lot of other people that...
I didn't get married till I was 39, so I really had to wait for it, but...
Right.
Yeah. It's a good problem to have. There are a lot of people that would probably trade you for that because the other side of that coin is not always as pretty.
Brandy said a married couple may choose to divorce and also continue to sleep with each other and have love for each other. It's just they could not stay married because of some sort of irreconcilable differences, whether it be culture or political or something really dumb.
Yeah. Well, I'm not hanging out in the same circles you guys are. I think I need to expand my friendship garden, as they say.
I've heard this. I can't think of a current friend who did this off the top of my head, but I have heard people say it. Lewis obviously personally knows somebody who does it. Tristan from Mansfield says, looks like Kelly's never hate-effed anyone.
No, I guess the thing is I think too, as to your point again, Lewis, is that I think you grow up and you sort of develop I don't know, a type of morality, I think, around sex. And I think for me, it's not ever been like a one-night stand situation. Like, that is something I cannot live with.
Good for you.
So that isn't anything I partake in or did before I was married or anything like that. It just was not a sex is sex thing for me. To me, it was way more important than that. So
I truly believe it's a connection thing. Some people you have more connection with than others. And I also think that in most cases, not all cases, women tend to be more attached to the people they sleep with than guys. Not all cases.
Yeah, I agree.
I just say most cases.
There seems to be,
Yeah. Tristan said one of my exes called me just to say she missed the sex. And I said, yes, it was good. But we are done and too toxic for each other, so there's no point in keeping the toxic situation going. So Tristan has standards.
Doug says, wait, people are still having sex after they get married? This is new to him, too.
Doug got a different rule book.
You know what else I think plays in this? And I've said this before about people who are alcoholics or addicts or really depressed. The holidays plays a part in this. Because if you are alone and you see everybody else together, you want a little some of that together. So you will start, wonder what my ex is doing. Okay. You know what I mean? Just so you can fill that void.
Yeah.
Amanda said sex is sometimes just sex. You don't always have to have a connection to enjoy it.
Yeah, that is not how I live, but I get it. That's not how everybody lives. We're all, I guess, living according to what is okay in our own consciences. So,
absolutely. You do you.
Well, there you go, JT. Everybody's doing it, and they're doing it a lot, evidently. So...
Jeez.
It was JT and Galloway who sent the email.
Are you sure that wasn't from Kelly Quinn in Columbus? I don't get it.
I don't get it. What did I do wrong?
Jerk ass.
All right, if you ever want to submit a question for Blitz Therapy, we're happy to give you an unbiased opinion. Just email me, thickrick@theblitz.com.
And now, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Little Licking County Sheriff's Office is investigating after 2 people died at the Lost Lands Music Festival this past weekend. Authorities say 34-year-old James Prompan collapsed near the main stage during the event at Legend Valley on Saturday. He was taken to Licking Memorial, where he died a short time later. And then a 27-year-old Columbus man lost consciousness at the festival on Sunday. He died while hospitalized yesterday morning.
Oh, wow.
The Sheriff's Office not speculating on potential drug or alcohol abuse until they get the results of toxicology testing. This is a wild story. Multiple people have been arrested in northern Switzerland after a 64-year-old woman from the U.S., somewhere here in the Midwest, traveled there this week to become the very first person to use a 3D printed suicide capsule to take her own life. Now, this woman was said to be severely immunocompromised. She reportedly voluntarily entered the Sarco capsule, sat in a reclining seat inside, and pushed a button which injected nitrogen gas into the sealed chamber. She reportedly fell asleep and died by suffocation. The whole thing supposedly took a few minutes. This happened, like I said, in Switzerland, where assisted suicide is legal, and you are allowed to travel there from other countries to take part. However, there are very strict conditions, and apparently the government in Switzerland told the people who own this capsule and built this capsule that they were absolutely not allowed to use it in Switzerland, that it had not been approved for use, it was not legally compliant, and they better not use it or they face 5 years in jail. Now, not only did they use this in northern Switzerland, they had a photographer from a newspaper there to take pictures of the whole thing. He was arrested, along with I think 2 others from the company Exit International, who were there at the time to just be there while this woman took her life. So yeah, there's a big issue. Even when you do allow assisted suicide under very strict conditions, you can go outside the law there. But there, I guess another woman from the U.S. was supposed to be the first one, but she backed out this past summer. So I guess it feels so weird to think of, people sort of planning out their own death and all that. Wild, but anyway, this situation in Switzerland involves a woman from the Midwest right here.
So but the way that happened, you said it took a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
And so is it painless?
They say it is.
I just wonder why they
wouldn't know.
Why they don't use that for death penalty.
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, we've used it once in Alabama. We're getting ready to use it a second time.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I know the one they just did, just a day or two ago, was lethal injection,
Yeah,
right?
they're doing another nitrogen lethal or death penalty. Maybe is it this week? I don't know. But yeah, they've already done it once. It was a big deal in Alabama. All right. Mr. McMahon, a 6-part Netflix docuseries on the wrestling mogul Vince McMahon drops today. Of course, Vince McMahon, the most important figure in the history of professional wrestling. He transformed a small business into the multi-billion-dollar WWE Goliath. Right now, he is the subject of an ongoing federal investigation into allegations that since 2006, he has paid 4 women a total of $14.6 million to cover up sexual misconduct. One of whom is a former employee named Janelle Grant, and she has filed a separate lawsuit. And the details of this crime it's pretty awful. It's pretty awful what she's saying happened with Vince McMahon. But anyway, apparently these candid interviews with McMahon in the 6-part docuseries were conducted before the sexual allegations came to light. So I don't know how much of that he's going to be addressing.
He issued a statement on it.
Yeah.
And he said that he didn't regret doing the interviews because he wanted to talk about it, but he says they cut it all up and used it in a certain manner, which basically means there's a lot there that he's now, going to deal with.
Well, it should be interesting. They have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart all involved in this docuseries. So if you are a WWE fan, might be something interesting to watch. Again, it's on Netflix starting today. And those are your 3 things.